So, get this, something whacked the far side of the moon, not the dark side, just the part we never see. This event sent back about 20 gigabytes of data, which has now been released to the public. And in those pictures? Some seriously weird stuff. Like odd structures, broken bits, and things that just don't look like they belong there. And it's not recent junk, it's been there a while. Makes you wonder, right? Like, what's the moon hiding? Enter Grok 3, a super smart AI. When it got to chew on decades of moon data, it came to some pretty wild conclusions that have scientists scratching their heads. Turns out, what Grok 3 found on the far side suggests we've been missing something big for years. The crazy thing is, the signs were always there, out in the open. Grok 3 spotted patterns that mess with what we thought we knew about the moon. Big differences between the side we see and the side we don't. Now, space agencies like NASA are thinking about their future moon plans. Grok 3 says we might have missed important clues in tons of past mission data. The AI saw stuff we didn't, connecting different data sets in ways a human just couldn't. It looked at radiation, seismic data, temperature changes all at once and drew conclusions we missed for decades. The biggest shocker? It has to do with three things on the far side: radiation, seismic activity, and crazy temperatures. NASA already knew the moon's temps swing from superhot to supercold. But Grok 3 noticed weird, offbeat changes that don't line up with what we know about the moon's physics. Here's where it gets even wilder. Grok 3 checked this against other data. When the temperature was acting up, so were the seismic activity and radiation levels. A pattern emerged suggesting the inside of the moon might be different than we thought. These weird things that were missed now make us think that the far side is totally unlike the near side. Dr. Sarah Johnson mentions that pattern systems are showing moon data that goes against what we know about the moon. The far side's been a mystery since the Soviets snapped a picture of it in 1959. The moon doesn't have a global magnetic field like Earth, but there are weird magnetic spots, mostly on the far side, noted by previous missions. This isn't just a theory, it's real. Another thing, the far side has a thicker crust and less of those dark spots we see from Earth. This difference means the minerals are different, and it has a different history. Grok 3's found connections between the crust and other weird stuff, making a case that the two halves of the moon are really different. The best example is the South Pole-Aitken Basin, a huge crater on the far side. NASA found dense stuff under the surface there. Some say it's from the asteroid that made the crater, but Grok 3 thinks something else is going on. By checking thermal images, magnetic data, and mass data, Grok 3 found a pattern that's a little scary. These things line up, suggesting one cause that forces us to rethink everything about the moon's geology. When scientists checked out the data, they were both amazed and worried. Dr. Maria Zuber from MIT said that the moon differences were mysteries. Most believe that the moon came from Earth crashing into something. What AI discovers makes for redefining how we understand the story. What's so different about the AI is how it looked at the data. AI helps when checking info. AI gives ideas and humans have to test them. Recent missions have made things more interesting. China landed on the far side and gave data on what underneath. Grok 3 checked this data and found new patterns that we're seeing before. But studying the far side is hard since it faces away from Earth. It's hard to communicate, and haven't been missions. Grok 3 has tried to fix the missing info using what it has, but needs testing. What may worry us is that Grok 3 says that the conditions may be risky. This data must be explained. This isn't about aliens, it is about details. NASA and scientists have started using instruments to check the phenomena. There is an issue about the dates of Artemis missions that will explore the areas. It is possible that our ideas are wrong and could have outcomes. Maybe they're more extreme temperatures which could be difficult for the habitat systems and the gravity fields. This may affect what engineering. Some scientists think the far side may be super radioactive, which would explain. Others say that materials surface from the asteroid South Basin. The main surprise is all we don't know. After years of missions, we don't have lots of info about the side. AI just finds blind spots and fix. With its abilities, AI can't say. It shows patterns to test and experiment. Scientists must work proof. The mission plan must now be high quality. China will study to find. The mystery becomes deeper. We may see AI to look at long data. They are anomalies. There are patterns that make scientists check. It turns out that we have missed something. Models we have must be improved. The new mission should be for scientific and home. This helps steady and light. Engineers what to do. We can keep this going or delay this to test. Agencies are evolving. What we are is changing in science. AI must use exploration. The mystery keep deep. We are a new phase of moon look. The area is important to the step and is in the shadows. We will explore new data to get answers. Recent missions like China's Chang'e 4 have made things even weirder. Chang'e 4 landed on the far side and sent back data about what's under the surface. Grok 3 saw new patterns, confirming the weird stuff it had already found. But studying the far side is hard. Because it always faces away from Earth, it's hard to talk to. Only a few missions have gone there because it's expensive. So, our understanding of it is patchy. Grok 3 tries to fill in the blanks, but we need to go there more. Maybe the scariest thing Grok 3 found is what means for future missions. The AI thinks the far side might be more dangerous than we thought. This isn't science fiction, it's based on real weirdness that needs explaining. This isn't about aliens, it's about safety. If this weirdness affects equipment or people, we need to change our plans. Future Artemis missions are expected to be impacted. It would seem NASA and ESA scientists started adding instruments to study this. There is a problem: time. Some Artemis missions are already set to go to areas that Grok 3 says are weird, like the South Pole. What if we're wrong? What if we're sending astronauts into a place we don't understand? The results could be bad. Temperatures might be much more extreme, messing up habitats. Magnetic weirdness could mess with electronics. And dense stuff under the surface could mess with gravity, hurting structures. This could change engineering. Scientists have different ideas about what Grok 3 found. Some think the far side has more radioactive stuff, which could explain the heat and magnetic fields. Others say the crash that made the South Pole-Aitken Basin might have brought dense stuff to the surface, messing up measurements. These ideas sound good, but someone needs to test them. The scariest thing is how much we don't know. After 60 years of missions, we still don't get the far side. Grok 3 didn't find aliens, it found our blind spots. If we ignore them, we could lose lives or money. AI has limits. It can't say what causes things, but it finds patterns. People need to do experiments to prove stuff. That's why we need to check these weird things by going there. The good news is that scientists are doing this. NASA's Artemis program will send better instruments to study the moon. The Viper rover will check out the South Pole. Japan's Lupex mission will drill into the moon. If Grok 3 is right, we might have to rewrite how we think the moon formed and how other planets developed. It's not just about the moon, it's about the whole solar system's past. The truth is, even with all our exploring, the far side of the moon still throws us for a loop. Grok 3 has connected the dots between magnetic fields, shakes, dense stuff, and heat that have been there all along, but no one saw. AI is helping us study planets now. It's changing not just how we look at space data, but how we see our place in the universe. Grok 3 doesn't guess, it calculates. It finds problems that we could miss, which could put future moon explorers in danger. Dr. Robert Martinez calls this teamwork between people and AI. AI finds what we missed, and scientists design experiments to check it. This is helping us find things faster than ever. He also said that this partnership with AI will reveal anomalies that can affect spacecraft, satellite positioning, and even long-term navigation near the moon. One cool thing Grok 3 has shown us involves gravity. If gravity is different than we thought, it could affect how spacecraft fly, where satellites go, and even how long they can orbit the moon. Not making the right calculations could be a big mistake. Plus, the weird magnetic fields on the far side might mess with equipment and astronaut safety. Depending on where they come from, these fields could mess with communications, navigation, or other electronic gear. These things might even be helpful. If the far side has a lot of certain minerals or energy sources, it could change how we think about getting resources from the moon. For example, if there's a lot of thorium or uranium, the moon could be a source of energy in space. But we need to explore more to know for sure. We also need to think about how this changes our feelings about the moon. The moon is a symbol, but now that AI is showing us a stranger far side, that image might change. The moon isn't just a rock in the sky, it's a complicated place that we only partially understand. As we get ready to go back, the stakes are high. Artemis isn't just like Apollo, it's a long-term plan. Habitats, long missions, and launch bases for Mars all depend on us knowing the moon is safe and stable. Grok 3 is warning us to change that confidence, not with crazy stories, but with science. The South Pole, which has some of the weirdest stuff, is a good place for science and settlement. It has sunlight for power and maybe water ice in craters. But it also has the magnetic and gravity problems that Grok 3 found. Engineers have a tough choice: keep going with the current plans or slow down to add protections against things we don't understand. Either way, there are risks. NASA and other space groups are changing their plans. They want to do better simulations, study the shakes, and map the magnetic fields on the far side. China's next missions will have instruments to check out the weird stuff Grok 3 found. Japan's LUPEX will drill under the surface. We're seeing a big change in how we plan missions. We can't just assume things about planets anymore. We need to use AI to target exploration and check data every step of the way. The mystery is getting bigger. Grok 3's work shows a bunch of things happening on the far side, especially in the South Pole-Aitken Basin: magnetic problems, shakes, heat spikes, and dense stuff under the surface. These aren't random, they're patterns that scientists need to look at. The big deal isn't just what was found, but how. For the first time, an AI looked at the data without any assumptions and asked, what if we missed something? And it turns out we did. That's what Grok 3 is telling us. Our basic ideas about the moon might be wrong. The far side of the moon could be dangerous for missions, but it might also have resources, tell us about the moon's structure, and teach us about how planets form. As we explore the moon, we can't ignore the far side anymore. It's a new place to explore that's important for our next steps in space. Artemis, LUPEX, China, Grail, and Viper are now not just missions but are there to fix the mess exposed by Grok 3. But even with all this, we're still curious. If the last 60 years have taught us anything, it's that every answer leads to more questions. Grok 3 hasn't solved the moon, it's just made the problem bigger. In the end, we have gotten really good at asking questions and trying to find the answers, even if we don't have all the answers.